Good evening and welcome back to Clark's Cookery. I just got home from work and I wanted to do a tour of the garden. As you can see, it is dark outside. It's too dark, so we'll wait until the morning time. I'll get to it tomorrow morning before I go to work. I really haven't done a garden video since September, I believe it was, and hasn't really been much to see in the garden. But now our onions, we'll get an update on that. The sweet onions are growing really well. The greens are doing well, and the cabbage is getting larger. Should be getting cabbage heads soon, and the broccoli is looking really well too. So stay tuned for tomorrow morning before work. I will do a quick tour of the fall garden, and thanks for joining us. Have a good evening. Good morning and welcome back to Clark's Cookery. I'm being attacked by Atlas right now as I'm trying to film. There's Spido. Well, I had promised a garden tour the other morning before work. Well, I kind of overslept and didn't get to it. So I'm doing it this morning, Sunday, December the 13th. It's a beautiful morning. You see the sun is trying to come out. All right. Right here are my pepper plants, which I pulled out of the garden since they were in pots because we had a freeze about a week and a half ago. It got in the 20s for 2 nights. So I pulled them up here, and so far they're doing well. They're still hanging in there. You can see the little habaneros in there. Those are the newer ones. They're still green. Oops. And here are the jalapeno peppers. And those are the banana trees, which I cut back, and they're actually growing up again. So everything's pretty sheltered back here on this wall. Now let's go on out to the garden. That's the sugar cane. You can tell it froze. I need to go ahead and cut it down. I hadn't cut it down because it wasn't mature. This is the rosemary. It had bloomed a couple of months ago. You can actually see a little bloom right here. I don't know if you can see that. It's a cute little violet bloom. Right here are the multiplying onions. If you remember, I put these in a pot, I believe it was back in October, and fertilized them. They're doing very well. These multiplying onions are kind of an antique onion. They're one of the older onions. They're not as popular anymore. I was able to find them at my local farm store. These are the collard greens. That's the Georgia variety. I've already cut out of these twice, and they've come back like 3 times as full. That's one of the cabbage plants. There are 2 of them. This is my first year ever growing cabbage. This is the late flat Dutch, so they have a longer growing season. I'll get a view of the collards. These are some later collards which I planted about a month and a half ago. This is the ginger. I can actually go ahead and dig this up. The freeze kind of killed the top of this off, as you can see. This is my white ginger. More cabbage. These are my chives. I've had these, probably about 2 years. I've used some of them, and they just grow back. And here is the broccoli. And it looks like a few collard green seeds might have fallen in here because some of these plants look like collard greens. Like this one right here. Looks like a collard. This is a broccoli. And as you can see, there's a little damage from when we had the freeze, but it recovered. More cabbage. And this one is probably my largest cabbage plant. It's beautiful. Now let's talk about some of these yellow looking leaves. This looks like snail and slug activity. I've been seeing some in here. Yeah, this is definitely a snail. As you can see, I need to get in here with the neem oil today, because you can see I had some aphids. I put a little diatomaceous earth out to get rid of them, because I had a row of mustard greens. You can see where it used to be there. I had to pull them out because they were so infested. I didn't want it to get into the rest of the garden, so I just sacrificed a row to get rid of the aphids. I put out diatomaceous earth, but I believe it was too late to even save the garden. I mean, to save the row that I pulled out. So I didn't want to lose the garden to the aphids. Alright, in this pool was spinach. It looks like a lot of snail activity with the yellowish looking leaves. Hopefully they'll recover. Here's a lone broccoli. Here's a better view of some frost damage and when we had the freeze. That is a radish that I just let grow, white icicle radish. I kind of use it to help keep the worms and things off of my other plants. More spinach. And this pool is doing the best so far, my spinach. I can actually go ahead and cut this. These are some little turnip greens seeds. I need to thin them out. I see some little worm holes. Again, the neem oil will help with all of that. These are the mustard greens. This is the giant curled variety. See, it looks like I have some aphids on the back of it. Yep. This leaf is huge. Now these are the sweet onions. You may remember we did a video, I believe it was in October, when we planted these. As you can see, just from looking at the stalk, they're getting huge. And I put a little mulch out, and I'm glad I did because we had the freeze and it helps to protect them. This is cypress mulch. And this pool with the logs on top of it is where I planted my garlic. And I had to do this because a little furry friend over there who's rolling around in the grass, Atlas, was digging them up. So I had to do this to Atlas-proof the garlic. As you can see, I actually have one growing up. And I put the mulch out to help protect them from the frost. Yep, looks like some grass clippings in here. But I'm excited to get the garlic. This is my first year growing garlic. Get a better view of the mustards. And right here, this beautiful patch of greenery are my carrots. This is what's left of the Tabasco bush. I'm going to just cut it back and it should come back fine, just fine in the spring. Here is the kale patch. This is the red Russian variety. I couldn't find the green kale seeds at the farm store, it was just, they were running out of seeds. So I got the red Russian variety. This is my first time ever growing it. On Fido. And you can see the leaves are turning red. It's beautiful. And you find these in your salad mixes. Sorry, it's a beautiful plant. I love kale soup. Well, that's it. Thanks for joining us. Have a good morning from Clark's Cookery.